a lovely place for a cup of coffee. So welcome to this week's video. A little bit short for time this weekend, although it's a long weekend. It's pretty full, so I've only got an opportunity to film today. So we're on the river Blackwater, which runs along Testwood lakes. So the intention is to spend a little bit of time in their heights. There are two heights. The first one is San Martin Height. And what I'm hoping to do there is to have a look at the common terns. There's some common terns here the last time we were here, so I'm going to try and practice my bird in flight because I desperately need to be able to improve on that. See if I can get them catching some fish, and then move up to another height, which is Heron Height, which are normally some herons. We've seen last time we were here some great crested grebes, and again common terns. So it's a case of having a look at seeing how far I can improve my birding photography. A bit of an aid I've purchased. It's quite difficult when you're filming in a height to use the tripods. So what I've got is a clamp from One Photo, which clamps onto the shelf. You can place then into that a leg from a standard tripod, and then put a fluid head on, which gives my camera, which is quite a heavy camera, gives you a bit of fluidity to be able to try and track the bird in flight and also take some photographs. So it's a pretty handy little tool. So it's a case of just experimenting with some different formats, slow motion, 4K, HD, and then just really quite improve, because if you watched my last video, I sort of desperately need to get a little bit more professional, I think, really. After experimenting with quite a few different settings, I seem to sort of settle on the HD, which I could slow down 4 times. And I think it really does show off the bird in a really good light. Although it circled round in front of me several times looking for some prey, it didn't manage to find any, so I just didn't get that strike. One thing I do notice is with the tripod you get a really quite firm base, and the vibration of the camera is minimised to the minimum. And when you're right at sort of the full extent of your zoom, any minute vibrations really do transfer into your image. But with the clamp, you're relying on the sturdiness of the shelf. And when I was in the San Martin hide, which is a 2-story hide, any movement, especially from downstairs, just vibrated up through and just gave that subtle shake, which I really tried to deal with in post. When you look at these young grebes, I can't help but think of the sweets, the Everton mints. I've been nursing some sort of long-term injury to my ankles, and I popped an Achilles, which means I can walk reasonably okay, but not from any length of time. So have to regularly rest. And fortunately with Testwood, there's plenty of seats on the way to the hides, and once at the hides you can sit there for an hour or so before moving on to the next. Therefore, my next few sessions, I'm going to sort of manage how far I walk and take plenty of rest. So that's where the hides really come into play. On the left-hand side of the heron hide, there are no windows to open, so I had to shoot through the glass here. But just made me smile the heron and his companion seem to be mirroring each other in their actions, and I think both of them were not really impressed with my attempt of filming the tern in flight. And once I returned to the sand martin hide, this common tern seemed to be taunting me with his catch, completely missed its fishing foray, and I looked at this roach thinking there is just absolutely no way he's going to get that in, but he seemed to be out there to prove me wrong. And the only thing I could think of was, you are not moving from there for some time. I wonder if his eyes are bigger than his belly. Fishlake Meadows is on the way home. I may drop in there depending on the time and I'll have a look. So if I get anything, I'll probably stick that on the end of this video. So I'm anticipating it's probably going to be quite a short little video, but yeah, let's see what comes. Fortunately, it's quite a short walk from the car park to the viewing point. And once there, I joined another birder who I met the last time that I was filming here. He's now subscribed to the channel, and he mentioned that he'd been 2 or 3 times since my last visit, and he noticed how this particular bird was pretty much a regular here, and she was catching in some occasions 2 fish at a time. So you're probably looking at a shoal fish that it's feeding on. Roach, rudd could be. They tend to be quite close to the surface, which would be quite easy prey for it. So I realised that it wasn't going to hunt for some time, and I was only here for sort of 3/4 of an hour before travelling home. But it was interesting to see the fact that it was still being mobbed by the magpies, who were rather persistent. It flew off to a different position and spent the rest of my time at the venue cleaning off those rather impressive talons. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe. And as always, it'd be really great for you to join me in the next one.